Basahin po natin ang Executive Order number 1 ng ating bagong Pangulo ng Pilipinas. So may 3 pahina po ito. Dito muna tayo sa unahan. So makikita yung seal ng Malacanang Palace. Then by the President of the Philippines, Executive Order number 1. Reorganizing the office of the President, including the immediate offices and agencies under or attached to it, and the Common Staff Support System, abolishing the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission and the Office of the Cabinet Secretary. So yun pong Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission ay binuo sa panahon ni Pangulong Duterte noong 2017. So dumako tayo dito sa pangalawang paragraph. Whereas in the face of current health and fiscal crisis, the administration endeavors to achieve a comprehensive and meaningful recovery through a just allocation of resources and a simplified internal management and governance of the office of the President and its immediate offices and common staff support system. Next, whereas in order to achieve simplicity, economy, and efficiency in the bureaucracy without effecting disruptions in internal management and general governance, the administration shall streamline official processes and procedures by reorganizing the office of the President proper and the various attached agencies and offices, and by abolishing duplicated and overlapping official functions. Next paragraph. Whereas Article 7, Section 17 of the 1987 Constitution provides that the President shall have control of all the executive departments, bureaus, and offices. Next, whereas Section 31, Chapter 10, Title number 3, Book 3 of Executive Order number 292 or the Administrative Code of 1987 provides for the continuing authority of the President to reorganize the administrative structure of the office of the President. Next, whereas Presidential Decree number 1416 granting continuing authority to the President of the Philippines to reorganize the national government as amended by Presidential Decree number 1772 provides that the President of the Philippines shall have continuing authority to reorganize the administrative structure of the national government and may, at his discretion, create, abolish, group, consolidate, merge, or integrate entities, agencies, instrumentalities, and units of the national government, as well as expand, amend, change, or otherwise modify their powers, functions, and authorities. And the last, dito sa first page ay whereas Executive Order number 43 series of 2017 creating the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission as amended by Executive Order number 73 series of 2018 is exercising jurisdiction, powers, and functions present in the inherent power of the President to discipline and remove public officials and employees except those who are not otherwise subject to his disciplining authority. So yan po ang first page. Then next page. Now therefore I, Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President of the Philippines, by virtue of the powers vested in me by law, do hereby order. Okay? So ito po yung section 1. Abolition of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission. So the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission is hereby abolished and its jurisdiction, powers, and functions shall be transferred to the office of the Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs. The Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs shall make recommendations on matter requiring its actions to the Executive Secretary for approval, adoption, or modification by the President. Next, the Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs shall promulgate rules of procedure in administrative cases under its jurisdiction, provided that the existing rules of procedure in administrative cases promulgated by the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission shall remain in force unless otherwise repealed or amended. Section 2, winding up of operations and dispositions of the functions, positions, personnel, assets, and liabilities of Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission. So the winding up of the operations and disposition of the functions, positions, personnel, assets, and liabilities of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission shall be administered by the Executive Secretary. Then Section 3 is the abolition of the office. Section 3, abolition of the office of the Cabinet Secretary. So the office of the Cabinet Secretary is hereby abolished. The existing Cabinet Secretariat shall be placed under the direct control and supervision of the Presidential Management Staff. The Cabinet Secretariat, in coordination with the Executive Secretary, shall assist the President in the establishment of agenda, topics for Cabinet deliberations, or facilitate the discussion of Cabinet meetings. Section 4. Personnel affected by the abolition of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission and the Office of the Cabinet Secretary. All personnel affected by the abolition of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission and the Office of the Cabinet Secretary may be allowed to avail of the benefits provided under existing laws if applicable. The Department of Budget and Management is hereby ordered to release the corresponding fund as may be warranted, subject to existing civil service budgeting, accounting, and auditing laws and rules. Section 5. Authority of the Executive Secretary over the attached agencies or offices and those under the office of the President. So the Executive Secretary shall exercise supervision, control, and oversight functions as the case may be over all agencies and offices under and attached to the office of the President. And last, Section 6, Common Staff Support System. The Office of the Special Assistant to the President, the Presidential Advisors and Assistants, and the Presidential Management Staff shall coordinate with the Executive Secretary in providing staff support to the President. So the Office of the Special Assistant to the President and the Presidential Management Staff shall provide support and assistance to the Executive Secretary in the overall management of the development process. Section 7, the Presidential Advisor on Military and Police Affairs. There shall be an Office of the Presidential Advisor on Military and Police Affairs which shall be under the administration of the Office of the Special Assistant to the President. Section 8, Modification or Repealing Clause. All presidential proclamations, orders, instructions, rules, and regulations, and other enactments of parts thereof which are in conflict with the provisions of this executive order are hereby modified or revoked. Section 9, o yung separability clause. In the event that any provision of this executive order is held invalid or unconstitutional, the provisions not affected thereby shall remain in full force and effect. Then Section 10, Effectivity. This executive order shall take effect immediately upon publication in one newspaper of general circulation. So done in the city of Manila this 30th day of June in the year of our Lord 2022. So pirmado po ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos at ni Executive Secretary Victor D. Rodriguez. So yan po ang Executive Order number 1 ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos.